Barometer is a device used to measure the atmospheric pressure. So what is this barometer? This barometer consists of a 1 meter glass tube which is filled with mercury. So this is completely filled with mercury here. Now, when this glass tube is inverted in a crucible or in a tub, in a beaker like this, so this is also filled with mercury only. So this is the mercury which is kept inside this one. When this barometer or the glass tube of 1 meter length is inverted into this one, so this open end will come here. This is the open end, and this will be closed here. So it is found that there is some vacuum that will be created here. This vacuum is called a Torricelli vacuum. So this is the open end here. Why? Some liquid will stay inside the mercury. Actually this is mercury. So why this mercury will stay inside the glass tube and why this vacuum will be created here? The reason is, as the atmospheric pressure is applying its force on the liquid column or mercury column here, so here at this point atmosphere is applying its force. So when the atmospheric pressure is acting here, this is the atmospheric pressure acting on the open surface of the mercury. So this pressure is able to keep this much mercury column inside the glass tube. So we know that from Pascal's law, the pressure at any point along the horizontal surface remains constant. Means pressure at this point, pressure at this point, pressure at this point, pressure at this point. These are all atmospheric pressures. Even the point which is along the same horizontal line will have the same pressure. That means the pressure acting at this point due to atmosphere, we call it as P naught. This is the atmospheric pressure. So what is the pressure at this point A? The pressure at point A, the pressure at point A is also equal to atmospheric pressure. So this pressure is keeping this liquid column at rest so that it is not falling into this beaker. So what is the height of this mercury column here? It is found that this is 76 centimeters of mercury. So atmospheric pressure is able to keep 76 centimeters of mercury inside this one. So this pressure must be equal to pressure created by this mercury column inside this glass tube. So this is given by density of mercury, G of mercury, height of mercury. So this is the atmospheric pressure and which is equal to the pressure due to this column of mercury inside this glass tube. So how to find the atmospheric pressure? We know that the height of the mercury inside this glass tube is 76 centimeters. So this atmospheric pressure is given by what is the density of the mercury? The density of the mercury is 13,600 kg per meter cube and small g is equal to 9.8 meter per second square and height is equal to 76 centimeters or 0.76 meters. I am taking all in SI units, and if you multiply this you will get 1.0135 into 10 power 5 Newton per meter square, also called 1 Pascal. So this is the atmospheric pressure. So whenever we are solving a problem on pressures, whether it is Pascal's law or in this fluid lesson, whenever the atmospheric pressure is not given, you always take this as 1 into 10 power 5. Instead of this entire value, it is nearly equal to, so this is nearly equal to 10 power 5 Newton per meter square. So this is the atmospheric pressure. Instead of mercury, if you consider water here, if you take water, what will be the pressure of the atmosphere in terms of the mercury level, water level? So pressure is given by rho GH. So this is pressure of water, density of water. So what is atmospheric pressure? This is 1.013 into 10 power 5 is equal to density of water is 1000, G is equal to 9.8, H is equal to unknown. So now if you take this one, this is equal to 10 power 3 nearly, this is 10 only, so this is nearly 1, so this will become 10 power 5 by 10 power 4 is equal to H. So the height of the mercury here will become 10 meters, height of the water inside the barometer is 10 meters. That's why to measure the atmospheric pressure, why we are using only mercury, why not water? If you want to take water in the barometer, the height of the barometer should be more than 10 meters. Why? Because atmospheric pressure can keep 10 meters of water at rest inside the mercury, this tube. So that's why water is not used to measure the pressure of the atmosphere. Mercury, as its height is less than 1 meter, it is easy to build this type of glass tubes, and if you want to keep a tube of more than 10 meters to hold that one, it is not that much easy. Now, as we go on the top of the mountains, generally pressure decreases. Why? Because if you take a person here, the atmospheric pressure, the entire weight of the air column is acting on the head of this person. So this pressure at the bottom or on the surface of earth, generally we take it as pressure at sea level is equal to 76 centimeters of mercury. Actually, the atmospheric pressure should be written as 1.013 in 10 power 5 Newton per meter square. But I am not writing that the pressure in terms of that Newton per meter square. So even if you write atmospheric pressure as 76 centimeters of mercury, so this is enough to indicate the atmospheric pressure. Suppose if you want to write the pressure, atmospheric pressure in terms of water, you have to write 10 meters of water. So this is 10 meters of water. So this is atmospheric pressure. Now, what happens if the person climbs to the mountain here? When he reaches this mountain, the weight of the air that is acting on the person will decrease. As we go up, the height of the atmosphere on our body will decrease. That's why as height decreases, height of the air column decreases, here pressure is always less than the pressure at the foot of the mountain. So here what happens, whenever pressure decreases, generally our body will create or maintain some pressure, and even the atmosphere pressure is also maintains constantly around this value. So when these two pressures are equal, so the liquids cannot flow that much easily. Liquids or fluids can flow from one point to another point if there is a pressure difference. So why the blood is not coming out of from our body? So why? Because the atmospheric pressure and the pressure that is inside our body almost equal. Now here what happens, atmospheric pressure is less, but the pressure inside our body is more. So whenever pressure is more in our body than the atmospheric pressure, then the liquids will try to come out. First of all, that's why these mountaineers, they will face this problem. When they climb to the higher altitudes, generally they face the problem of vomiting. So why vomiting takes place there? Vomiting takes place, why? Because the internal pressure is more, external atmospheric pressure is less. That's why the fluids will try to come out from our body. So they face this problem. Manometer. So this is a device that is used to measure the pressure of the liquids or gases. Device used to measure the pressure of a gas or liquid. Now, this manometer consists of a U-tube here. This is a U-tube. Which is connected to a glass bulb. So this is a glass bulb here. So here, this entire bulb is filled with gas. And this U-tube is filled with mercury. So this is filled with mercury here. You can see this one, the gas which is indicated with the red dots here is doing some work to push this mercury downwards, but here it is found that the gas is keeping the mercury level to this point, and the air here, this is a open end here, open to atmosphere. That's why this is a open end here. So the open air, that is air, will exert some force on this mercury level. So in this diagram you can see the level of the mercury in the U-tube remains same on the two limbs, left limb as well as right limb. So from this what we can say, pressure at this point is equal to pressure at this point. But if the pressure of the gas is more than the atmospheric pressure, then what happens? The gas will do more work on this mercury and it pushes the mercury downwards. So whenever mercury falls to a particular level here, let us say it falls to up to this level, so same amount of mercury will rise in the other limb here. So what we can say now, this gas has reached this point also. So when if you take more gas and it can create more pressure now, and here this is the air column, because this atmosphere means this is air column. Now you can see a difference between these two, which is given by C. This is the level of the mercury on the left side and this is the level of the mercury on the right limb of the U-tube. So the pressure difference between these two, or height difference, is given by H here. Now, what is the pressure at this point? The pressure at this point is pressure due to the atmosphere, that is air which is inside this tube, plus pressure due to this liquid. So the total pressure at this point 2 must be equal to total pressure at point 1. So what is the pressure at 1? So according to Pascal's law, once again we can write pressure at point 1 is equal to pressure at point 2. So in a simple liquid, not only there, even if you take some more point here, 3, 4, at the same height, the pressures is always same. But you cannot take a point here, this and this. Why? Because this is in mercury, but this is in gas. We have to take a horizontal line only in a single liquid here. So here 3 and 4 on in the same liquid. That's why pressure at 3 is equal to pressure at 4. Pressure at 1 is equal to pressure at 2. But pressure at 5 is not equal to pressure at 6. Why? Because these 2 points are in 2 different media. So this is gas media, this is liquid media. That's why whenever you are comparing the pressures in a single liquid which is at rest, it should not move. It is settled there. It is in equilibrium. That's why we can apply Pascal's law. So now pressure at 1 is equal to pressure at 2. What is the pressure at this point? This pressure is due to this gas. So I am going to write this as a pressure of the gas. So that I can call it as a absolute pressure of the gas. Pressure of the gas is also known as the absolute pressure of the gas in this tube, which is equal to, what is P2 here? P2 is the pressure due to this air column plus pressure due to this height of the mercury inside the tube. So this is pressure due to atmosphere plus pressure due to mercury inside this U-tube. So now we can write this as the absolute pressure is given by this pressure due to atmosphere is constant, which is equal to 1.01 10 power 5. And what is the pressure due to mercury? This is rho GH. So whenever we are finding the absolute pressure in any device, this is equal to atmospheric pressure plus density of mercury G into the height difference between the two mercury columns in the U tube. So this H is the, here H is the height difference in mercury columns in U tube. So this entire setup is called a manometer. So you have to remember this one. The absolute pressure of a gas in this tube is given by atmospheric pressure plus this rho GH. So this is the pressure due to the mercury, or instead of mercury you can use some other alcohol, some other liquid also. That's why this rho GH is also called gauge pressure. Generally these gauges will give this pressure only. So what is meant by gauge pressure? The gauge pressure is given by the absolute pressure of the gas minus the atmospheric pressure. Buoyant force, also called buoyancy simple. So what is this force? Suppose if you take some liquid in a tank, and if you insert a body here, this is a body which is kept inside this one. Now let us say it is floating inside this one. Now if you press this ball, the pressing force is downwards. If you press this one, the liquid will exert will equal and opposite force on this body. Sometimes if the applied force is more than the force that can be created by this one, then the body will shrink into the liquid. Now this upthrust is given by the liquid on the immersed body or on the floating body is known as a buoyant force. So the buoyant force can be defined as the upthrust given by a body, the upthrust given on a body immersed in a liquid is known as a buoyant force. This upthrust is given by whom? The upthrust is given by the liquid, and it is acting on the body in the vertically upward direction. That's why it is called upthrust. Now, based on this one, we have Archimedes principle. So, what is this Archimedes principle? Archimedes principle states that whenever a body is immersed in a liquid completely or partially, so when a body is immersed in a liquid partially or completely, the buoyancy force acting on the body is equal to the buoyant force acting on the body is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. Or weight of the liquid displaced, that is enough. So what is the meaning of this one? Now see, if you take a body which is placed in air, let us say it appears 40 newtons. The weight of this body is 40 newtons. If the same body is kept in a water tank here, so the weight of the body within the air is 40 newtons, but within the liquid this may be around 38 newtons. Why? The body loses this weight. Actually, it is not losing weight. It appears that weight is around 38. Why? Because 2 newtons force is acting on this body in the vertical upward direction. Actual 40 newtons is acting downwards, as the 2 newton force is acting upwards. The apparent weight of this body is equal to real weight minus force given by this or the upthrust given by this liquid on the body. So now we can write the apparent weight of the body is given by real weight minus the upthrust given by this body. So how to find this upthrust? The apparent weight, I am writing it as W apparent, which is equal to real weight. So W real minus this is the upthrust given by this liquid. So now we are going to find out this upthrust. According to Archimedes principle, if you read this statement, when a body is immersed in a liquid partially or completely, the buoyancy force that we call it as upthrust. So this is the upthrust. The buoyancy force acting on the body is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by this solid. So how to find the weight of liquid displaced here? So but here what we can write, upthrust can be written as weight of the liquid displaced. This is the expression to find out this upthrust. So I am going to write, let the weight of this body is W in air. So we can write weight of this body in air is given by M into G, but this is density into volume into G. So weight of the body in air, also called real weight, is equal to rho Vg. So I am going to write this. This is rho Vg minus, how to find the weight of the liquid displaced? When the body is somewhere here, this space is filled with liquid. Now here, if the body comes here, the liquid which was previously present at this volume will go on either side of this body in all possible directions. That means, what is the volume of the liquid that can be displaced by this solid? The volume of the liquid that can be displaced by the solid is exactly equal to the volume of this body only. So here also, to find out this one, I can write the mass of the liquid into G. So what is the mass of the liquid? So here I am writing weight of the liquid is given by mass of the liquid into G. So here we can write sigma Vg, where sigma is the liquid density. So I am going to write this as sigma Vg. This way and this way are same. This is the volume of the solid. This is the volume of the liquid displaced by the solid. So now you can write this as rho Vg minus sigma Vg. If you take rho Vg common, 1 minus sigma by rho. So this is the apparent weight of this body. The apparent weight is given by rho Vg, which we call it as a real weight, into 1 minus sigma by rho. So this is real weight into 1 minus sigma by rho. So to find out this apparent weight, we need to use this formula. So we can write mg apparent is equal mg real into 1 minus sigma by rho. The weight lost by this body in the air, I told this was 40 newtons. When it is immersed in water, it appears that it is only 38 newtons. So what is the weight lost by this solid here? Weight lost by solid is 40 minus 38, which is equal to 2. So weight lost by a body, weight lost by a body is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. Now, instead of this body, if we use some other body, then the weight of the liquid displaced will be different. Why? Because there the density will change. Whenever density changes, this density changes, we know that density is equal to mass by volume. If density changes, volume also changes. Then whenever this volume changes, this volume also changes. That's why the weight of the liquid displaced by different volumes, different bodies is always different. Apparent weight of a substance that is immersed in a liquid is given by mg apparent is equal mg real minus mg liquid displaced. So this mg apparent is given by the real weight, and just now we solved this one 1 minus sigma by rho. So this is the apparent weight. So from this equation, so we will write the laws of flotation. So what are these laws of flotation? Here, if density of liquid, this is the density of liquid, this is the density of solid. So what happens if density of liquid is exactly equal to density of the solid? So this will become 1 minus 1 by 1, this will become 0, the apparent weight will become 0. So that is one case, that is sigma is equal to rho, then the apparent weight will become 0. If sigma greater than rho, if density of liquid is greater than density of solid, so this will be more than 1, so apparent weight will become negative. So this apparent weight may become negative. If sigma less than rho, then apparent weight will become positive. So these are the three different cases. So based on these three different cases, we can give the law of flotation. So what is the statement of this law of flotation? Now, that is number 1. If density of liquid less than density of solid. So here I am going to draw the diagram. So this is a liquid here, whose density is, let us say, 800 kg per meter cube, and the density of solid is more. So then what happens? This is density body, solid body, and let us say density is equal to 2400 kg per meter cube. As the density is more, then we will take this case, density of liquid is less than the density of a solid. So here I am going to write rho solid. So if rho is greater than this sigma, rho greater than sigma, sigma less than rho, so apparent weight is positive. So it shrinks into the body. So body sinks in the liquid. So this is the first law of flotation. What is this second law of flotation? Second law tells that if density of liquid greater than density of the solid or the this body, then what happens? As the density is more here, let us say this is 8000 and this is only 200, then the body will float on the surface of the liquid with some volume inside this one. So then body floats in the liquid. So this is the best example. Generally plastic bodies will float on the surface of water. Why? Because plastic has less density when compared to water, whereas iron balls will shrink into the liquid. Why? Because density of iron is greater than density of water. So this is called laws of flotation. A block of wood with its density 0.6 gram per centimeter cube is in the shape of a cube, 10 centimeters on each edge. It floats in water. Remember this, in this problem it is floating in water with some of its portion immersed in water. How much of the block projects above the water? Now here, so let me draw the diagram here. So this is the water that is kept inside a beaker or a tank. Now a cube is floating in it. So a cube is floating in this one, and the cube is in the form of, this block is in the form of a cube. So this is the cube. Now what is the side of this cube? 10 centimeter, height 10 centimeter, width also 10 centimeters. Now the density of the cube, while solving this problem, first write the data given. Density of block. So for solid we denote this rho. Rho cube is given by 0.6 gram per centimeter cube. And the side of the cube, side of the block is equal to, let me take L, this is 10 centimeter. So I am not going to convert this into SI system, I am going to solve this problem in CJ system only. So what will be the volume of the cube or volume of the block? So volume is given by length into breadth into height, 10 cm into 10 cm into 10 cm, which is equal to 1000 cm cube. So this is the volume of the block. Now if a body is completely immersed in this one, then the apparent weight is equal real weight minus weight of the liquid displaced. So this is the formula. But if the block or any body is floating, then for a floating body we should not write this formula. For a body floating, for a floating body, so we can write weight of the body which is acting downwards must be equal to the upthrust, then only this body will be in equilibrium, it is not shrinking down. So I am going to write weight of the body, here weight of the block is equal to weight of water displaced. So how to find the weight of the body? Weight is equal to mg or rho solid or block, volume of the block into g is equal weight density of the water, volume of the water displaced into g. Now so from this I am going to substitute these values. What is the density of the block? It is given as 0.6. So this is 0.6 into volume of the block displaced. Here you can cancel g and g. Volume of the block displaced. Here you can see this is the level of the liquid, only this much volume is inside the water. So this is the total volume of the block here. So this water density we know this is constant, which is equal to 1 gram per centimeter cube, and volume of the water is equal to VW. So based on this one we can write the volume of the body actually given, it is a 1000 cm cube. So I am writing 0.6 into 1000 is equal volume of the water displaced here. So what is the volume of the water displaced? Volume of the water displaced here is equal to, multiply these two, that means 600 centimeter cube of volume will be displaced here. So you can see the volume of the water displaced is equal to 600 centimeter cube. So what is the volume of the water displaced? If you take this cube here, so in this this is 10, this is 10 and this is h. Here they are asking how much portion of the block projects above the water. So I want this h. So this will become 10 minus h. What is the volume of the body that is inside the water? The volume of block inside the water is equal to this one, the volume of the water displaced. So this must be equal to 600 cm cube. Now we should not use this formula in this problem. So what is the volume of only this portion which is inside the water? So this is given by length into breadth into 10 minus h. So L into B into 10 minus h is equal 600. What is length? 10. What is width? 10. This is 10 minus h is equal to 600. 100 into 10 minus h is equal to 600. 100 ones and 100 twos. 10 minus h is equal to 6. So h is equal to 4 centimeters. So what is the portion of that block just above the water surface? And this is equal to 4 centimeters, only this portion. So the height of the block above the water level will be 4 centimeters.